We learned everything new today. There was no relearning. Well, at least for myself. I have never done cabinets before, so this was all new. We didn't do cabinets on the other build. So everything today was fresh and new for me. Did you?
Um, yeah. No, everything was. I don't know. What did you say?
Did you do cabinets before? Did you
Yeah.
learn? Was there
Yeah.
anything that you remembered from last time?
Just like having everything line up, be level, but there was, better ways to doing it. I used to do it with the laser, so with a level is all you need really, pencil lines and stuff.
We didn't. We kind of just went into this not knowing anything, and we had to really rely on Dan and Rick to kind of guide us through the process. So still a little shaky, having only done it once, but it went pretty smoothly. So I don't think there's no regrets. There's nothing that I wish I would have known. I do wish I would have measured more times up there on this cabinet. I've got this outlet of shame up here that I cut the outlet too high, so we're just gonna close this and not look at it. The outlet was one of our mistakes. Another thing that we just caught today was that we painted over our electrical wires for all the lights, so we're gonna have to clean those up. So that was another mistake. We made that mistake yesterday, but we learned about it today.
That was my mistake. I painted the outlets. I just thought they would be fine, but I guess the paint acts as an insulator, so it's not good to be on the copper wire. So yeah, lesson to be learned there.
Yep, but the biggest takeaway is measure multiple times, use your level on everything. Today you are just going to be leveling literally everything you touch multiple times. Have all your batteries charged, have your driver, have your drill, get your partner's driver and their drill also, and clamps. And you're going to be clamping everything before you drill it in, line everything up, just get everything really accurate before you start connecting it. So that's my biggest takeaway of the day. Don't be afraid of it. It was a little bit daunting because we haven't done it before, but actually I think it went really smoothly. We had plenty of time in the day to get it done. So I think everybody should be able to, this is a one-day project, and you should definitely be able to get that done. One important thing before we go, though, is that I don't know if you can see, there's a clear plastic film on all of these. Still, do not take it off. Leave this for the homeowner. This is going to protect it from any scrapes or scratches or people bumping into it, your tool belt, walking by it. So leave that on. Do not take it off, as tempting as it may be. All right, so today is cabinets, and you don't need a ton of tools, but you need to be really precise. So we're definitely going to need our measuring tools. So you'll need your measuring tape, and you're going to want your level. This is going to be really priceless. You'll also need your pencil to mark on the wall where you're putting your cabinets, and the knife for unboxing, for unpackaging and opening things. You'll also need your clamps to hold the cabinets in the place where you want them to be, and you may need your finishing hammer to tap some things into place. You also want all the drills, every drill, your partner's drill, your drill, all of them, because you're going to need to do several different sizes of drill bits and holes. And then you're also going to have a couple different attachments. You're going to have a Phillips attachment, and then like a star-shaped one and a hex-shaped one for the various screws that we're going to be using. So you want to just get all the drills you can, and you might need your box of drill bits. The last thing you'll need is your oscillating tool, and you're going to need this for some of the cutouts that you're doing. So yesterday we did a little video on how to protect your lights, how to put plastic on them so they wouldn't get paint on them. However, if you have a partner like mine who thinks it's too dark and uncovers them, you may have to participate in this activity. So what we're doing is just really quick. We're taking our small putty knife, and we are scraping. So you can see I've done this side already, and they're clean again. And this side is still really cloudy. And you just get all that paint off so that whoever gets these lights after you is still able to see. So today we are getting ready to put our cabinets in, and that means we need to do a little more prep work on our floor. So I'm just going back over all these little drywall bumps and trying to even them out, get anything off the floor that is going to cause our cabinets to be uneven. It's like we have a little bit of ABS glue down here. So just all these little bumpy parts that we can get off. If you have any screws also that are above the floor level that might cause that are catching on your knife and that might cause the cabinets to be uneven, get your drill and go ahead and sink those in. The other thing we're doing as we're Just removing any bumps. Of course, you're going to sweep. I'm probably going to sweep 2 or 3 times just to really get all this dust and debris out of here. And this is also going to help us prep for floors, which is what we're going to do right after the cabinets. The other thing you can do is, well, maybe while one of you are doing this, your other partner can start removing all the tape inside. Just be careful. Make sure that you're not ripping off any painted areas, especially on the window. If you notice that you get in the corner here and it's a little bit too close to your edge, you don't want to start ripping off your caulking. So just do this very carefully, and if you see that the paint is very heavy, JC did a nice job and it's not too heavy on here. But on areas where it might be, this is a good example up here. You see this? It sort of bonds to the other paint. So you may just want to get your knife and run it down that edge so that it doesn't tear off. This one seems okay, but in some areas you may start tearing the paint off of the drywall, and you don't want to do that. So just use caution, remove it gently, and then run your razor knife along the edge if you need to loosen it up so you don't rip the paint off.
So I'm just taking my layout, reading it, and then basically going off the numbers that you have here. You want to make sure you write them down on your cabinets, even though we know where they're going. It's like double checking yourself, you know. So we're gonna write down. Yeah.
We're putting the cabinets in first. The electrical trim is actually one of the last things that we'll do, and the flooring is going to go in right after we do the cabinets. So we're going to do the cabinets first, and that actually is going to take up a little bit of that space. We don't need to do the flooring under the cabinets, so we're just going to start the flooring from the cabinets to the door. So we're unboxing these. We want to get all the shelves out, and then we're also going to remove the doors, and that's going to make it a lot easier to put them up on the wall. Don't cut your cabinet. So first things first, we are going to take all these doors off the cabinets because it's going to be really awkward to try to put them up on the wall when the door is flinging open and hitting us in the face. So we're going to get all the doors off so that we can do this efficiently. So you just have a Phillips bit in your regular drill. You do not need the driver. And then you're just going to get this big screw right here in the middle and back it out. You want to do this kind of carefully. Don't just let the door drop and rip the screws out. Are you putting all your screws in one spot?
Yeah.
I'm laying out for where the cabinets are going to go, and then we're going to do a level line at the height of the cabinets. So they'll know here. We'll do a plumb line so they can line up the cabinet with a plumb line. This gets a Lazy Susan, and then it gets a 36-inch sink base.
Super important to take the doors off first, right?
Yeah, because we got to clamp them all together and then hold them tight, and then we screw them together once we get them up in place. Now the screws that you take out, what are you doing with them? When we do remove the cabinet doors, and the reason we're removing them is so that we can clamp the cabinets together. And what we're doing is pulling the cabinet doors off, but we always put the screw back into the location it came out of. That way we're not looking for it when we go to hang the doors. We know exactly where they're going to be. So if you pull a door off, take the screws and put them right back in. And they don't have to go in all the way, just so you've got them in there so that we can see they're there. Lay out your cabinets. We're going to do level lines for where your cabinet goes. We're going to show a plumb line where the end of your cabinet goes so that we can make sure everything's level and plumb on our surfaces. So the first one, we want to come in and do a line across here to this line right here at 34.5 inches. Measure your cabinets first and see what their height is.
35.
35?
Yep.
Not 34.5?
35.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed.
So measure up at 35 inches. Put one line here and level a line from the corner all the way to this point right here. No, put it in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Yeah, 35 inches. Okay, now do a level line all the way across to that other pencil mark I have over there. Yep, all the way across. It'll go there. The level line is so that when they screw their cabinets, their base cabinets in, they have a nice level line that they're going to screw it to in the back.
How important is it to have something like that? Because it's basically a guide, right?
Well, it's critical that all your cabinets go in level and plumb. So they're doing a great job. So there's that. Okay, now at that point right there, you want to run a plumb line up and down.
Okay. What do we use for a plumb line? Like this?
Yep. So let me tell you something. Plumb is a vertical, okay, because if you ever heard of a plumb bob,
Yes.
a plumb bob is a string that is hung down, and so we call that plumb. Level would be this way.
Okay.
So just take your level and draw a level or plumb line. No, turn it to the other way. There you go.
Now we want this to be
Right, that's got to be dead center. Absolutely perfect in the middle.
up to you.
I'm asking you. Make sure you're on that mark. Make sure you're on that mark. All right, now let's run another plumb line.
Which one?
The second one in. Yeah. So here's how you do this. Okay, wait a minute. Look at me for 1 second. We know the outside edge. This corner is right there. Measure this distance from here to here.
Watch the wall.
You're gonna have to do paint touch-up. We try to keep everything hidden. Okay, now come again this way with your level line, and we know that goes to
Should I take a measurement? We're just gonna go.
here. Here again, I already at 36 inch. All right, that's where your
No,
cabinets
but
are gonna
from the
end.
bottom.
Well, just
Level it out.
yeah, run a line over, level it out. That's good. And then yeah, you want a line back there. Okay, now that point right there, you're going to want to run a line up there. Okay, now this measurement right here is 36 inches. That's where our cabinet, our range starts. So our end of our cabinet's right there. Now, 30 inches over, we're going to put another mark over here. So I'm going to give you 36, mark it right there. All right. And then do another level line there, and this line's got to go across there. So go up 35 inches. Line up with your line though. Okay, well, either you got something wrong with your floor. So from this point, run it this way 3 feet.
From this.
A level line from your 35 this way.
How would we do the level line? How is it not?
We'll deal with that here in a minute. There is where you have it. Okay, don't draw a line across there. So you want it from this point this way, you want to go 3 feet. All right, so do a level line here. The nice thing is you can set this at 12 inches and go to the end of that. So right there, I'm on my pencil mark. We're going to move that way, so the other marks are okay. So what do we got next? Upper cabinets. Yep, so at 54 inches is to the bottom of our cabinets. So you want to run a line over here 9 inches past this point right here. This is our corner cabinet.
Measure them?
What's that?
Should we measure them or?
They're 9 inches in the front. So what I want is a plumb line right here from this point up. So do a level line just from that line over to the corner. So let's do a level line first. From that point. Are we good?
Yeah.
So from right here. And then you'll want to run a plumb line up from this point right here. It should be 23 3/8. So let's make sure we're 23 3/8 to that. Oh, what are we?
23, 5/8 strong.
5/8?
23 and 5/8. So 23 and 3/8.
No, it's 23 and 5/8. I'm sorry. All right. Yeah. Yeah, not yet. So we'll do another point here. That is 23 and 5/8. So we'll do a plumb line here and do a level line across. And you'll do your level line to this point right here. We can get going on this cabinet right here. I'm not used to having lights everywhere. So let's move the shims. And then we're going to set this cabinet up on here. And what we're doing is you've got to drill holes in this to mount it. So, you remember where you put your blocking?
Yes. I think 54, and then was it 96?
Okay, so we should be able to come up X amount of inches, and we like to keep it all the same. So a lot of times what I do is take a shim. So when we look in a cabinet, we want everything to look good. So for you to screw in, you know you've got to be past this, right?
Past this.
Yeah, so in order to get your screw in.
So that'll be on this part of the wall.
So at 2.5 inches, what we want to do is come in 2.5, making a little cheat,
A little jig.
right? So we know that if we put that in the corner, we want to do a screw right here and right here. Same thing here, we'll come in 2.5, do a level line across, and then do a mark. Come in off of our corner. We marked where we want our screws to go. So we kept it even. When you look in a cabinet, you want it's finish work. So you don't want to have one screw at 3 inches, one at 1.5 inches. You want to keep everything lined up so it all looks pretty. All right. So I make a jig up. So I know that right here is 2.5. So I stick it in a corner. I do a level line on the top because that's my space, and then I do another line here. So what we'll do is mark. Now we've got those marked. Now we got to do the same mark on the top.
And just from the top down now.
Yep. Yep. She is now drilling the pilot holes for our screws so that we can mount the cabinet. Yeah, so you'll want all the screws with the heads on them once we start holding it up, and we'll put some screws in. And I don't put them all in at first. I put a couple and then get everything lined up, and then now we're going to put it up. So he's got his screw gun ready to go. And that's got the torque bit in it, right?
On the
So we
other
have to
side.
flip that cabinet around
Okay.
to hang it.
Okay.
All right?
Where do we want these
So-
babies? Up in the window screen?
Yeah, save
Did
all
you mic
those.
me?
Those are your shelf
Okay.
clips.
So we just
So-
did a little thought exercise of which way do we want the cabinet to open. And so we're thinking about it. What do you usually put in those corner cabinets? Probably spices and cooking things. So you want to be able to access that from the stove, which is here. You want to be able to reach over and open it. You don't want to be reaching across and moving out of the way, right? If you're at the sink, that's very convenient. But how much spices and, people don't keep their
Okay,
dish soap.
now I'm
up there.
going to say one thing.
Okay.
You're probably going to have more dishes in that one
Okay.
because you have a 9-inch cabinet next to it for spices. And same with this, you have a 12-inch cabinet here. So
Okay.
if you're doing dishes, would you rather it open the other way
Yeah.
rather than to you?
That's true. Because there's bigger cabinets up
There's
here.
over
right?
here, right?
That's,
So you got
that's where I
it.
put my dishes.
you know,
but
so-
that's me.
Yeah, right. So personally, which way would you do it? Would you think the other way?
Personally, I would still have it towards the stove, and I would put my dishes over here. But it
Okay.
is inconvenient from the sink.
Okay,
I don't know.
what would you use in that big cabinet? Cereal,
Spices.
maybe not spices because you got the 9-inch cabinet.
Yeah,
So I would think tall stuff like cereal
I was
and,
thinking cooking oil. Yeah, because there's no pantry.
Right.
That's why I put my cereal in the pantry.
all right. So if that's the case, you were right because if you're cooking and your cooking oil's up there, because it's too tall really
Yeah.
to go in the other cabinet.
Yeah, I think about 13.
So let's flip it over and
Okay.
we'll do the door that way. But I'm just saying, you know, if
Think about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
think about how you would set up a kitchen. It can go right in the corner.
And again, of all times, now is the time to make that decision.
Absolutely.
All right. Are you going to put it up then? You want me to grab the drill?
Yeah.
Okay. Are the screws in your pocket?
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were going to do that part.
We're both going to hold it.
Okay. Is it?
There we go. Bring it down to the line. Bring it down.
We're going to put it on here, right? Yeah.
Bring it down. You can get on the far corner. I got this corner. You get on the other corner. Okay.
Good right there, yeah. JC.
Looks good.
JC's good.
All right. Let's
I
put
don't
a screw in it.
know. It's high in the corner. Does that make sense? See, it almost goes up.
We're okay here because check your plumb line. Are you
See, it
plumb?
tilts out from the top
Yeah.
on both sides. It tilts out quite a bit.
Okay. Are you covering the line up
Yeah.
on the bottom?
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
right
that's over
on
here.
the line, like right, yeah. It does, it comes over at the top.
Okay. So now here's something you're going to run into. Cabinets are built out of square. Okay.
Or the
So
wall.
put a screw in this corner right here.
Okay, excuse me, JC.
Yep.
You're to the bottom line, right?
Yes, sir.
Can't quite see. Okay,
You didn't hit a
no, that didn't hit a
You
stud
didn't
at
hit
all.
blocking. All right, get your level and let's check this side to make sure it's. You can come up. Hey. Yeah, it's good. Screws will hold it in place for right now. Is that side plumb? But it's plumb. That's what we want. Is it plumb? So let's put a screw in up at the top. Hey, you hit something.
Yeah, that one's in. Nope, right through.
We're gonna have to figure out where a screw is, or stud is here, and put a screw through the bottom here. All right, you can let the cabinet go. It's not gonna fall.
What was our, do you remember what the blocking height was, JC? Was it 50?
All right, so we want to get our clamp, and we'll throw a clamp on here if we can. Oh, that's not gonna work. Go ahead and put the upper one in. And then we'll do a 2-inch into this right here. We're trying to screw the two cabinets together. Now look up top where I have that screw. And what we're going to do is drill into that scribe. Yes, it looks great. Now we're going to do the same thing to the 12-inch cabinet on the other side. Now we know we didn't hit anything. Let's see if there's a stud or blocking here. Just take a nail and put it in a couple places, see if we've got blocking in there.
You want a nail?
I got a nail.
Excuse me.
Hold it down closer to the line. Yeah, about 3 inches up. There you go. Nothing there? All right, now you're gonna have to find a stud because that blocking didn't get put in. Okay, now you gotta mark your cabinet on the inside. 6 1/4. Now let's look at the 12-inch cabinet. Carol, what way are we swinging this one? So we know these are about a 1/4 inch each. So if that's 6 1/4
Yeah, 6 1/4.
to that,
Yep. Just put up my hand. 5 3/4. So
okay.
a half inch off.
Yeah, it'd be a 1/2 inch off. So that would be 5 3/4. You would do your hole. Now on this case, let me see your pencil. You're going to want to drill it from the back side.
Okay.
All right, because you have no clue. So 5 3/4.
Yeah.
So 5 3/4. And 5 3/4. And then we know we came up how high on this? Where's our shim? So we've got
We went up
1 3/8.
like
So we have 1 3/8, 1.5 inches. It's right here, and that'd be to your shelf. And then we came up how much? inch and a half.
Yeah.
Another inch and a half, so we'd be right at 3 inches. So that's where you'd want to drill your hole. And same thing here, you'd want to come up 3 inches. Whoop. So right there. Drill your hole from the back side now. So get your bottom lined up with your other cabinet.
Oh, this is not the bit. Where's the other bit?
Over here.
It's in your pocket? Oh yeah,
Okay.
that's blocking.
Are we still good at the bottom?
Yeah.
Make sure everything's flush, and then put another one at the bottom. Well, we've got to cut a hole in the back of the microwave cabinet. So a microwave goes underneath, and we've got to run a cord up through the cabinet to plug into that outlet. So they'll have to cut a hole in the back of the cabinet, and then we'll be able to run the cord up through the bottom from the microwave and plug it in.
Yes. So we're going to cut out this outlet that's on the wall here, and as you can see, we've measured a few times. We have to make sure that we're adjusting for this little gap right here, and there's also a little lip on the other piece sticking out, and we have to adjust for this as well. So it's about 3/8 of an inch on here and 3/8 of an inch on the other cabinet, plus the cabinet wall. So when we're measuring the distance of that outlet from that cabinet, we have to add in that 3/8 from that cabinet, the 3/8 from this cabinet, plus the side of the cabinet itself when we're doing all our math. So you can see we moved our measurements a few times. We just really wanted to make sure we got it right. And once we cut, we can just wipe that off with water and a little cloth, and those marks will come off. But most important thing is to make sure it lines up and it's the right place. Oh, one more thing. We're cutting from the inside out. We do not want to cut from the outside in. That'll make your finish on the inside kind of flare out and look really ugly, so we want to go inwards out.
So right here is the countersink. So what we're doing is we're going to drill a hole for our screw to attach to the other cabinet. And she has a countersink, and it has a tapered edge that'll match this so that this screw head sits flush with the wood here. So she'll drill her hole, she'll countersink it to where this is recessed or flush with the edge of the cabinet. And we want to do 2 on each side. So stay above the hinge. Now remember how big your hinge is.
It's about that big.
Yep, so you're good right
Good.
there. And you're not going in straight, now you're going in straight. You go all the way through.
And is that good for the countersink?
That's
You want
good.
it in further? Okay.
Now, since it didn't come all the way out, or did it?
Just a tiny bit.
So what we want to do is take your other drill and drill the hole first, all the way through. Because really what you want is the screw to only bite into the secondary cabinet.
There we go. So for students who are wondering what is a countersink or what does that mean, this hole here has been drilled with the countersink, and you can see it's got a little divot where the screw will go in. This one is just drilled with a regular drill bit, and you can see there's no hole there. And so if we put a screw in, it's going to stick out. So we're just going to make a hole for the head to go into so it can lay flush and the doors will close all the way.
And you can always check it with a screw. All
So
right,
there we go.
there you
You
go.
can see it fits in there. Great.
So you want to hold it up and then clamp it together.
Yeah.
How'd your electrical box, how'd it line up?
Woo!
And we can't come down at all?
No, we can't come down at all.
Take your cutout piece.
What cabinet goes next?
The 24 and then the 18.
So let's check it for plumb too. What I would do is see where the stud is here, and then go ahead and put your other three screws in this cabinet.
Inside it, right?
Yep. We're drilling holes for our screws to hit our studs in the back wall. So we drill a pilot hole so that it's already ready to go and marked. And he's falling asleep over there waiting for us. But
It's lunchtime, bro.
it is lunchtime. So let's get this cabinet up and we'll take lunch. All right, we're ready to bring it over to you. Line your top up and put your clamp on. All right. Let's check our cabinet for plumb.
It is just slightly this way.
Okay.
You see it? Like the bottom.
Let's get those screwed together though.
All right.
Let's see if we can get a shim behind there. We want to shim this cabinet out to where the face hits flush. So he's going to loosen the screws. We're going to put a shim in back behind the cabinet to bring this bottom out. His top he's got set. So we're good and flushed up top, and we just want to flush up the bottom. All right, they out. All right, so let's get a shim. Show you a trick if you pull that out a little bit and then hit it.
Oh, like,
Yeah, there you go.
got you.
Going.
The shim is so that we can bring the face out flush with the other cabinet. Yes. So now we have it out flush. And did you re-drill that hole deeper? Just so the other one doesn't break. Shouldn't, but we got a piece of hardwood on that back side. There you go. You want to get the other upper up before we take lunch? And then all we got to do is bottoms.
I'm good.
What's that?
You guys found the stud?
Yeah, the hollow, yeah.
We also know from when we framed that there's a post here and there's two studs on each side.
Okay, so 14 3/8, half out, half inch here, and then 14 3/8. All right.
So first I drilled the holes with the countersink to get that little gap for the screws, and then I just drilled through with this longer drill bit to make sure that we don't want the screws to split this part of the cabinet. So we want to make sure that they're pre-drilled enough that the screw can go through easily and it's not damaging it.
That's good, Kara.
Good. Okay. You're gonna need a lot of drill bits for this one. And all your drills and impact drivers.
And then as she's screwing it in, you can clamp and that'll help. All right, and then we just got to get our screws in the wall and we can go have lunch. Fantastic job. Everything looks really nice and straight and flush, and everything looks good.
Covered it.
We're getting ready to set our first base cabinet.
36 strong.
We want to
Should
shim
be.
this. Oop. We were good for a second.
Too much?
More. Okay, you're good. Let's get a screw in this, guys. You use your level on that.
Okay.
Look pretty good.
We go.
So we'll check with mine and with yours.
I said yours.
Just a hair. Yep. Yeah, just up a little bit. Keep going. Whoa. A little more. Okay, you're good.
Okay.
All right, so let's set it in and see how it's going to fit. Yeah, maybe not.
Oh. Hold on.
Maybe you can slide it in.
We have to cut those off or no?
It's just
It'll miss it.
thin piece. Yeah.
No, don't go all the way. It lines up front.
Oh,
We need to shim the back cabinet up to match this.
okay.
You're good. So get your clamp started. So get it hooked together and then we'll adjust it. That's the biggest thing. So we're gonna have to shim it over a little bit. It looks like it's out of level. It's not flush. All right,
Okay.
there you go.
You got.
You guys cutting holes?
It's like slightly out.
How much?
That's the bowed part. So
Well,
it's
yeah,
lying-
but let's line it up.
line it up. Okay.
Yep. So you can take your hammer with a shim and tap it in until it's flush.
That's right there.
Got it? And then we'll adjust the top at the
You
end.
see the top? Like, is it off?
Yeah.
It's okay. This one, drill from this side.
Oh, from that side. Oh, that's what you meant. All right, guys. Remember these little baggies that you keep finding in all your cabinetry? I hope you didn't throw them out. We are going to use these little plastic nubs to fit them in and put the shelves in. So you want to have the flat part is going to be the top where your shelf rests. You don't want this little angled piece. That's going to be at the bottom. That's going to support your shelf. And this little peg is going to go right into the hole. And then you'll do one on each side, and that'll help you support the shelf. So I'll show you in here. So there's these holes in here, pre-drilled all the way up. So we're going to put this on the bottom one. And then there's another one over here on the back side. So you're going to make sure it matches. And there's another one. Get this open here. There's another one back here on this side. 2 in the back, 2 in the front. And then you can put your shelf, will rest right on top. So I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of these in all the cabinets that have them. You can see these ones by JC are also going to have a cabinet, a shelf in the middle, probably 2. And this little narrow one also has pre-drilled holes. What I'm doing, just for the sake of simplicity and having it all be uniform, is I'm doing all of the bottom shelves on the lowest rung. So you can see I've got my plastic piece in here, and then all of the second shelf on the highest notch, so that spaces them out as much as possible. So we got our shelves. We're going to pop these in here on top of where we put these little shims. So let's see. Get this one in. You want to make sure on your shelf, you can see there's a raw edge on 3 sides. You do not want that facing out. That's gross. It's going to get dirty and attract bacteria. You want to have your nice finished edge showing on the outside. And then you're just going to put it in here at an angle and kind of slide it down until you hit your plastic pieces. And make sure it's resting flat. So pretty simple. Thanks, Dan. All right, now it's flat.
Okay.
Then the other thing we're going to do is put our doors back on. So you're going to want to get your Phillips bit. See if we can find it. With all of our mini drill bits. All right, and then also while you're putting your shelves in, you're going to want to put your doors back on. So we're going to take these screws back out.
This is so accurate.
This,
8 foot, that's a
Got the door on, so I'm just putting more of these shelves in. Make sure you have the right side of the shelf out. So make sure it's flat. Make sure you get them firmly in there too, because otherwise this little lip will stick out. It'll make your shelf be crooked. Push them all the way in. Then find your finished edge. And there we go. And the door's on, so you're good to go. Got this nice big shelf over here for the Lazy Susan. So just do this one really carefully. Try not to scratch the cabinets or damage them. It's a little bit heavier. And you're going to have to kind of twist it in there. There might be a trick to this. Let's see if I can figure it out. So these shells are a little bit of an odd shape. You can see it's not quite a hexagon, but it's sort of a weird shape. So you want to put them in before you put your clips in. So I had to actually take all my clips out and put both of them in vertically first together. So both of them are going to go in like this. I'm going to put them into the cabinet, and then you're going to lie them down on the very bottom of your cabinet. Then you'll take the one, you'll push it all the way to the top, put your clips in underneath it, and then drop it into place. It may be very firmly wedged into place. It may not just easily drop. You might have to kind of hit it a little bit. Then with the bottom one, same thing. You're going to lift it up above that bottom rung. You're going to put all your clips in and then drop it into place on top of it.
So what I'm looking for is the bottoms of the cabinets being flush. You don't want one to come down further than the other. You want that line to be mated so it's nice and flush. So you should almost not feel the split right there, the two cabinets coming together. One thing I am looking for, so see how this one kind of protrudes out a little bit? So this cabinet sticks out further than this one. So you have a gap. You can kind of see it up at the top a little bit. So this cabinet should have been brought out a little bit further. So the doors need to be reversed on this one. Overall, it looks pretty good. I'm going to throw a wobble on here just to see. Got a little bit of a lean, so we'll have them correct that.
But looks like a lot of what you're looking for is, flush and plumb.
Flush and plumb, just all the little details are going to make your cabinet look nice. You will see this, and this is where all the pride and joy of the work comes out, that we want to take care of, make it look nice, and show what we can do. Yeah, I'll go back over them with them and we'll clean them up.